What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. And I know I haven't been posting videos of lately, but there were so many things that were happening around me which kept me away from making any videos. But now things are slowly getting back to normal and I should be back to creating videos more often. So when PC case manufacturers get highly inspired by an alien movie, they end up creating something like this. Let's talk about it. So before we start, just want to quickly request you all to subscribe to our channel if you have not already done so. Also press that bell icon to get notified about our upcoming videos. And yes guys, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button as well. So guys, this right here is the Mod 5 Mesh Warrior 2 case from Jonsbo. Now, I think most of you don't know about Jonsbo, or you might not have heard about this company. They're a company based out of China, manufacturing computer cases, air coolers, AIOs, and some other computer accessories. Now, this case looks really awesome and has some great features built into it. We're going to talk about this in a while. Now, before that, looking at this case, I really feel that its design team was somehow highly inspired from an alien movie. And in all fairness to this case, its design is pretty different from what you would see on a case like maybe Antec Torque, or I think it was called Cougar Conqueror. Both these cases are really great cases, but yeah, in my opinion, this looks better than them. So let's talk about the specs of this case first. At 9 kgs, this case is not the lightest in the market, but considering its size and design, that is pretty impressive. And that is thanks to the all aluminum chassis and the body panels on this case, which are also made out of aluminum. Now, aluminum panels on this case are about 3 mm thick, which not only makes this case light, at the same time makes this case really sturdy. In fact, I tried bending the aluminum panels on this right side that you see here. I took it out and I tried bending it, but it's built really strong and the build quality is better than most out there in the market. I was just not able to bend it. The paint on these panels is again really smooth and really nice. The texture on these actually gives this case a pretty premium look. So yeah, it looks really great. As for these side panels, which are these tempered glass panels, they're a little bit tinted black and they're about 4 mm thick. I saw this case first about a year back on some website and thought it to be huge because the photographs were like, yeah, but seeing it up so close, honestly, it doesn't feel all that massive. The case is about, from what I understand, is about 600 mm long or 60 centimeters long. It's about 255 mm wide or 25.5 cm wide, 635 mm high or 63.5 centimeters height. The case supports ADX, MATX and ITX motherboards. And as for the I/O ports on this case, there are 2 USB 3.0 ports, 1 USB Type-C, 1 headphone and 1 microphone jack on the front bottom. The start button is on the top side right above actually it's slightly behind the front glass panel, which is also made out of aluminum. Pretty impressive. I've not seen this in any of the other cases. The case actually comes in 2 colors, gray and black. Now the gray is the one that we have here. Black was actually my first preference when I was buying this case, but as luck would have it, I only got hold of the gray color, which in my opinion, honestly, doesn't look all that shabby either. So most of us who go and buy a case are looking for some kind of RGB inside the case. Now this case doesn't come with any fans. The only RGB implementation on the case is actually behind these two right hand side front panels and the bottom panel. They've got a RGB strip which can be attached to a 5-volt ARGB header on your motherboard, and I think when it lights up, it's gonna look pretty sick. Now there's not much storage option available inside this case. The only place where you can actually kind of mount or install a normal hard drive or a 3.5-inch SSD is towards the back side, but I don't know how you're going to do this because the case doesn't actually come with any kind of hard drive cage or hard drive base. So I don't know, I mean, like maybe my case didn't come with it, or it was taken out of the box. I don't know, I have absolutely no ideas. The motherboard actually which goes inside the case, it's installed at an angle, so that looks that's gonna look really sick. Now let's talk about the cooling options inside this case which are available to us. Now the cooling inside this case should be pretty much spot on, as it's an open air case. In fact, I would like to call it a semi-open air case. And as per the manufacturer, you can install an air cooler of about 18 centimeter high or 180 millimeter height max, which technically should actually cover most of the air coolers selling in the market, like the Noctua NHD15 and other air coolers which are there. Also, this case has an option to mount a 120 millimeter fan right below where the GPU would install. It's a great feature, as it would directly push a lot of fresh air directly onto the GPU fans, which is gonna make your GPU run a lot cooler. In case you opt for an AIO, which by the way I think is the best option for this case, or you decide to go the custom cooling route, this case supports a 240 millimeter rad on the front, 240 millimeter rad on the top, 360 millimeter rad on the front and the bottom. The top radiator of 240 millimeter should not be thicker than 30 millimeter and the front not more than 45 millimeter. Else you could have problems mounting the radiator itself or installing other components inside this case. As for the bottom radiator, I won't recommend anyone installing one there, and we're gonna talk about it in a minute. Hang on. Now, even though I like this case, there are still so many things which I really don't like about this case, thanks to a massive design flaw. I mean, I don't understand how a case which is so well designed could have flaws like this. The first one is, even though the size of the case is pretty good, but most of the space inside this case on the front side is wasted because of the design itself. Now there are two rods supporting and connecting both sides of this case, as you can see here. Now they are installed at an angle to each other, which leads to a lot of space wastage, which otherwise could have been utilized in many different ways, like maybe installing a pump and a reservoir. I think the design team could have done a better job designing this. The bottom space actually is where I have most of the complaints. A lot of space has been wasted due to a design mistake, which makes mounting a 360 millimeter rad towards the bottom simply not practical, as it lies right below the PSU, and this is going to make the radiator have a tough time breathing fresh air from both the top as well as the bottom. The fans basically are going to be mounted either above the radiator but still from the bottom side, or below the radiator, and there's not going to be much space left for the air to be pushed or pulled through. And even if you install those fans somehow, there's virtually no space for cable managing the fan wires, and that's going to be a nightmare in most of the scenarios. So yeah, you should be wary of this. The next thing is basically the PSU mount itself. Now this PSU, as I just mentioned, located too close to the bottom radiator. In fact, to be honest, it's right above the radiator, so any heat that the radiator generates is going to be pushed inside the PSU directly, which is not good for the PSU, in case you didn't know that. Also, the position of the PSU is such that if you install the PSU in the default mounting mechanism, then you will not have enough space left for cable management or installing the cable with slightly bigger PSUs like the Supernova G2 or Corsair AX series PSU. And that is primarily because of the extended length of these PSUs. Also, while testing, I found out that if you have the PSU in the default orientation, it doesn't leave much space for the components that could be installed inside this case after connecting the motherboard cables. Now the only way to overcome this issue is basically rotating the PSU 180 degrees and having the motherboard cables face outside, which would make routing the cables somewhat easy, which otherwise is pretty shitty inside this case. Let's be very honest about it. The backside lower panel, or the aluminum panel on the backside, like just the one that you see here, needs to be unscrewed from both inside and outside. So on the inside there are 2 screws which need to be unscrewed. Now once you have the PSU installed, it is going to be extremely difficult to unscrew these, thus adding or changing any cables later on, well, it's going to be really difficult. Honestly, it's a really bad thing for a case that otherwise I really feel is great for most of the part. Overall, the case looks fantastic, feels good, built really well, and has a pretty unique design, but some poor design towards the bottom of the case kind of makes it really hard to recommend to anyone. But yeah, I mean, if you're really not concerned about the issues that I just said, then well, if you can get hold of one, go ahead and build yourself a PC which could be a centerpiece in whatever room you have it in. So yeah, nothing more to really speak about this case in general. So I guess the next logical thing left is to build a PC inside this case. So I'm really excited to go and build a PC for myself inside this case, which is gonna happen on this channel in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. So what do you think, guys, of 5950X with a RTX 3090 fully custom water cooled? Let me know down in the comment section below what do you think about it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and before going, don't forget to like and share this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. So guys, thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. Bye bye.